Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is Doctor Who's Scare Factor, Sutekh, the Destroyer. Now, this character goes all the way back to the classic series story, Pyramids of Mars, and for me, Sutekh is somebody from the classic villain lineup that just embodies fearfulness and scariness. Sutekh is super powerful. We're talking somebody, as the Doctor says, who could only be contained by 740 of his own people, his own kind, the Osirans. They couldn't even destroy him. And the fact that Time Lords, as the Doctor says, let alone our one Time Lord hero, couldn't even hope to accomplish something similar. So we know we're messing with somebody big, and we see evidence of this from the get-go, with Sutekh basically psychically projecting his image into the TARDIS. When the Doctor says the power, the awesome power it would take to accomplish this, and seeing Sarah Jane just scared out of her mind, we know this is a serious game here. What adds to it is when we see that Sutekh is very discarding of his servants, as he calls them. Whenever he has people working for his, advantages, whenever he doesn't need them anymore, he just discards them in a very brutal and murderous fashion. You see someone's hands being put on someone else's shoulders and smoke rising and the blood-curdling screams of terror and agony. Sure, we've seen people scream in reference to being shot by Daleks and everything like that, but there's just a weightiness to it in this particular story that it just feels so funky watching it, kind of like watching Night of the Living Dead. You're on the edge of your seat, and it really gets to that primal fear. Of course, the scariest scene has to be, for me, when the Doctor is confronted with Sutekh face to face. And Sutekh is very easily able to get the Doctor down on his knees with these green energy beams from his mask. And the Doctor screams in agony. And then shortly thereafter, we see that Sutekh has been able to get into the Doctor's mind even. And he wants to use the TARDIS. He's basically stealing the TARDIS, controlling the Doctor to do so. And we think at the end of this whole sequence that the Doctor is truly dead, that he may not recover from this. Of course he does, and there are still puzzles and things to be had which are very frightening as well, but this just shows the menace that Sutekh presents to the Doctor and to all humanity. We get to see what he would do to the Earth if he was left free to do so. And of course we have one last shot of Sutekh himself, his real visage, that sort of somewhat ridiculous looking yak face, a humanoid body with a yak face head, that kind of thing, coming down the corridor from Mars to Earth, and the Doctor realizes he has mere seconds to stop this from happening. And it's that visage itself that I just feel like, to a child with that very visceral primal fear, it's going to be scary to see, because that's not something you see every day. Even when you're an adult, it kind of unnerves you a little bit if you get past the sort of chuckling, especially if you're somebody who knows about creature effects in productions, and whether it be Doctor Who or Hollywood monster movies, that kind of thing like I do, it still has an unnerving look to it, even though it is still pretty ridiculous. So, but that's pretty much all I have to say about Sutekh. He was definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if you haven't seen Pyramids of Mars, if you're just mostly a newer viewer, that kind of thing, go back in time, check out the classic series. That's really what I want to bring across with this particular video series, that there are threats and villains in the classic series that are just as magnificent as what you see in the current. And otherwise, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what you thought of Sutekh. Was he the all-time big bad of the classic series? And should he be brought back in the current? I'd love to see him again. So otherwise, that'll be it for me, and I will catch you later. Peace.